Hey guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to make sugar eggs today. We are all stuck in quarantine right now. This is Easter week 2020, and this is just a little craft that you can do with your kids or on your own for decoration. So you're going to be needing some cornstarch, some food coloring of your choice, and an egg mold. I got this one at Dollar General before we had to stay inside. You need a tablespoon. You're going to need 4.5 cups of sugar, and you're going to need a little bowl of water. And this is just for the egg itself. I'll show you the other ingredients for the icing later. So you're going to start out using 3 tablespoons of water. I did forget that I had a half tablespoon here, and so I should have doubled this, but it turned out okay. I'll show you in a little bit how it turned out, but it really would have been better if I had used the full amount. So now you're going to put in 10 drops of the color of your choice. I'm using yellow. I did not have a lot of options, and I couldn't go back out to the store to get any other colors, so luckily I had a few of what I needed. So I'm just 10 drops of yellow, and then you're going to stir that up and just get it really good and mixed well, and then go ahead and set it aside. So now you're going to put your sugar into a large bowl. You can see I had some lumps here. It would have been better if I had either sifted those out or taken them out, because you'll see in just a minute why the lumps kind of got in the way. So you're going to go ahead and just pour your food coloring and water mixture in, and then start mixing it together. So it's kind of like the consistency, I guess, of kinetic sand a little bit. So once you get everything combined, then you're going to take your egg mold, and it doesn't have to be this kind of egg mold. It can be any size. It doesn't matter. Just whatever you have on hand, if you have it on hand. I don't encourage you to go out right now and get any of these ingredients. If you don't have them, you can do what you need to do. Maybe next year you can go out and get what you need to make it. So you're going to put some cornstarch in your mold, just kind of shake it around a little bit. This just keeps the the sugar from sticking whenever you put your mold in. And then just put a little on your surface, and then just make it really thin. I didn't have any wax paper or anything like that to do this on, and again, I couldn't go out and get it, so this was actually wrapping paper. So once you get that all spread out, then you're going to take your sugar and just go ahead and start packing it down into the mold. And so you're going to scoop it up, just using your hands, just start pressing down, pressing down, pressing down to get any air pockets or cracks out. It'd probably be easier if you do it little by little, and you'll see when I do the second half of the egg that I sort of learned after the first one that it's easier that way. So just keep pressing down. And then you're going to take just a little butter knife or something and go ahead and scrape off the excess off of the top. And see, there is the little place where there was a lump, and that's why that got messed up. So go ahead and just scrape all the excess off, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other half. now you're going to take your mold and very quickly and carefully flip it over onto your surface. And then just carefully remove the mold, and your egg should just stick together. You can see in that one that I had a little bit of a hairline crack, and I think that's probably due to the lack of moisture but it didn't affect it. I just kind of pressed it together a little bit, and it did just fine after it dried. So then after you get that fixed, then you're going to want to find a little circle to make an indentation in your egg. I didn't do it on the one with a flat surface. I did it on the one on the left so that I could set it on a table later. I looked in my spice cabinet for this. I think it was the lid off of a jar of bouillon cubes. So you're just going to very, very, very lightly just take your lid and just make a little bit of an indentation, just so you can have it as a little guide of where you're going to start scooping the sugar out. And this is going to be your window. And then after you get that outline on there, you're going to take a spoon. Preferably, this worked really well. I had a melon baller, and it just was the perfect size for this. So you're going to take and gently just start scooping out the sugar inside of your circle. I mean, you have to be very, very, very careful, because if you press too hard, then your whole egg is just going to crack apart, and you'll have to start over again. But just very carefully, just start scooping out the sugar inside the circle. You don't have to go all the way down. The next step that I show you here in a few minutes, you're going to see why. So you're going to let that dry for approximately an hour and a half. So after it's dried, the outside is going to be nice and dry and firm, but you're still going to be very careful. You're going to pick it up, and then the inside is still going to be pretty soft. So you're going to take your spoon or your melon baller and just start scooping out the sugar, leaving about a little bit less than a half an inch wall, just so that your egg wall is nice and strong, so they won't have any weaknesses on the sides. Just gives it a little extra strength. So you're going to scoop, and then when you reach the surface of the window that you carved out before, it's going to leave a little, that's dry. So just flip it over and then gently start to tap, and it'll break apart. And again, just very gently, don't tap too hard, it still easily could be broken. So this is just, a very thin wall. Just use your melon ball or a spoon or just anything to just kind of tap. The edges don't have to be perfect, because we're going to put icing around there. And you're going to do the same thing for the other one, but you're not making a window on the other half. So you're just going to leave that little inch or less than a half inch wall throughout the whole egg on the second half of it. This is really fun to do with your kids, especially right now since everybody's inside. This gives you some fun things to do together. Although with children, you really kind of have to help them, because I tried it with my 10-year-old and he, was given too much pressure and his broke. So just if you do this with your kids, just make sure that you're helping them out. as it can be really frustrating. Okay, so after you get done, you're going to let it either dry overnight, or you can also bake it in a 200-degree oven for 20 minutes. I let mine dry overnight just because it was late. Either way, it's going to become really hard. The whole egg is going to dry out. So then it's time to decorate. So I was using white frosting because you're going to use different food coloring, make different colors however you want to decorate it. You can look up different ideas of how you want to decorate it. Again, I did not have a lot of materials on hand for this project because I couldn't go out. I just used what I had. So I just happen to have an icing gun. This makes it a little bit easier. If you don't have one, you can use like a little sandwich baggie and then just clip a little corner out of it. So you're going to start out with the white icing, and we're going to glue the two halves together. So you're going to take and just pipe a little small line around the edge of half of your egg. I used a little too much here. I would recommend not using this much because when I put the top on it, it kind of squeezed out and then I had a big mess, but it worked. So after you get your egg together, you're going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to put the grass in. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and just prep my other icing that I used for this particular egg this year. All I had was, like I said, a few different colors. So I'm using red to kind of make a pink icing so that I can add a little bit more to it. Although this icing that I had, and I think it's probably from the food coloring, but the red icing became a little bit too soft, so I couldn't get it to form. You'll see here in just a minute what I'm talking about. Probably should have used either maybe some powdered sugar in there or some gel food coloring. So then we're going to set that aside, and this is your grass. Got a little bit of coconut. If you don't have that, you don't have to use it. You could just use green icing. But I'll put a little bit of, maybe about 5 drops of the green food coloring into a few tablespoons of coconut into a little baggie, and then you just shake it up. Until you get it to the color that you want. Had to add a little bit more there. So once you get it to the color that you want, then you're just gonna put the coconut inside of the egg so it looks like grass. Ideally, if I had had the opportunity to go out and get more things to put in there, you could put like a little duck or a little chicken, or you could even make one. Last year I used fondant and just formed my own little chicken out of it. It was really cute. But you can go ahead and just, you pipe your white icing around or whatever color that you want to use. I am no icing expert. And you don't have to be an expert for this. This is just for fun. You can do it however you want. You could leave it like this. I chose to use some red around it, which I kind of wish that I hadn't have, because like I said, the red icing it wasn't as stiff as I had liked it, so it wouldn't keep its form. So here's the red or pink or whatever you want to call it. And you can see it kind of started out forming okay, but then I don't know what happened. It just didn't hold like the white did. I actually wound up removing some of this and trying to do it again, and it still didn't work out. But it's whatever. I mean, it's not like anyone's coming over to our house right now to see it. I don't know about you guys, but I am ready. Today is April the 4th, and I am so ready for this quarantine to be over. What are you guys doing in your houses right now? I mean, making crafts, watching a lot of TV, I don't know. Okay, so I had some jelly beans, and the idea was to use those to look like little chicken eggs. I never did get a chance to go out and actually get the chicken, but it still looks cute. So it's like little grass with little eggs in there. Probably easier if you let the icing dry before you try to put those in. But here's the finished product, and I just threw it on my table with some Easter decorations that I had from last year, and a little Bath & Body Works candle. I love that scent, fresh cut lilacs. And that is it. And I hope you liked it. This was a very easy craft. If you would like to see more videos like this on my channel, just leave me a thumbs up, and I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment, and please subscribe.